tournament and a South Carolina team competing for an SEC title.
South Carolina in black, Texas A&M in their Black History alternates. Terry Oglesby, KB Burnett, and Jeffrey Anderson, the officiating crew. Well, Lamont Paris has done wonders at South Carolina in his second year. Already 22 wins this season, in the hunt for an SEC title.
Well, you think about Lamont Paris. I told him here today, a nice slip of the screen. Obviously, a great set out of the gate by Lamont Paris in South Carolina. I said it's last year's SEC Co-Coach of the Year in Buzz Williams versus this year's SEC Coach of the Year. Lamont Paris has to be in the conversation.
He may win it. B.J. Mack gets the first two. Now Boots Radford going to work for A&M. His left-hand shot doesn't go. Second chance. And Levesque can't get it to fall. Coleman is tied up. All right, guys. All right, guys, thank you very much. From Gainesville to College Station, and Texas A&M trying to stop a 4-game losing streak as they host number 18 South Carolina, one of the first 4 out right now.
Yeah, you never want to see yourself in that first 4 out or even last 4 in this time of the year. The good news for the Aggies, they have quality wins over Iowa State, Tennessee, Kentucky. The Gamecocks, their future is secure, but they're competing for an SEC title. This ought to be a huge matchup here tonight, Clay.
Jump shot goes down for B.J. Mack. He's got a 3, and he's got the first 5 for South Carolina.
Well, that's the difference that you see in the Gamecocks this year. They're defending much better, but the ability to stretch the floor with B.J. up tonight. Their staff, they don't have suits on tonight. They're just trying to change it up. You know, on this losing streak, they realize the importance of this game. They're trying to do any and everything to get back in the win column.
Here's Wade Taylor. He'll launch it
to their practice yesterday, and you know, Buzz wanted to make sure, the head coach Buzz Williams, that they were relaxed but hungry. He said, all I can do is tell my guys the truth of where they're at and what they need to do in order to get into the NCAA tournament.
There's Wade Taylor. It's very hard to defend. Flips it into Radford. Levesque has it now. Guarded by Mack. What a slip there by Wildens Levesque, a former Gamecock. You know he's fired up to be playing here tonight against his old team.
Absolutely. You know, he kept that pivot foot down. Levesque gives them size on the interior, rim protection as well, Clay.
South Carolina's starting 5. Johnson, Davis, Cooper, B.J. Mack out to a great start. And Colin Murray Boyles, terrific the last 3 weeks, a very explosive left hand.
Yeah, and Zachary Davis gives them good length, ability to slash like he did on that previous play, Clay, at 6'7", 6'8", and I think potentially an all-defensive league type of player in the SEC.
Hefner goes baseline, well defended, and here come the Gamecocks, leading by 5. And that's stolen away. Radford got in the passing lane. Radford kind of does it all. Scores, rebounds.
Have been one of the determinants that have kept them from being well, and I thought that was a terrific way to look at it. And that's the truth, right? Whatever run that you're going to try to make, it has to start with the game that you're playing on that particular day.
Radford successful at the foul line. 7-4 South Carolina. Their confidence is back. A big win at Ole Miss on Saturday. That ended their first 2-game losing skid of the year.
This game will be decided by the strength and grit of the Gamecocks versus the speed of the Aggies.
Well, Dave, in problems this year, had that concussion before the new year.
That's right.
Damien, this crowd is just hungry for Texas A&M to get back on track.
When this crowd gets to rock, and they're one of the best in the SEC, and you see the last 4 games, I did the game at Vanderbilt, a buzzer beater by Ezra Manjon to knock them off, and then tough road loss at Alabama, who plays as well as anybody, and Arkansas swept them. And then the Tennessee game, obviously, a lot of people are going to lose at the Food City Center.
Talon Cooper skips it across for Michi Johnson. And there is Murray Boyles. Only played 21 minutes at Ole Miss because of foul trouble. Still finished with 12. He has been outstanding as of late.
Well, I think he's certainly going to be on the All-SEC freshman team, but a lot to choose from this year. Kentucky certainly has 2 of them, maybe 3 themselves.
Jace Carter, transfer from UIC, on the floor now for Texas A&M. Ball loose on the floor.
There's a timeout on the floor.
22 wins this season for the Gamecocks. Texas A&M needs to find the bottom of the net. They are shooting under 14%. It's a team that has struggled to make shots all year. Just over 39% on the season. Only Vanderbilt is worse in the SEC.
You see they're off to a rocky start. Only 12% here tonight. The key is they are excellent in going to the offensive glass. But as you said, Clay, they're going to have to make some shots to beat the likes of a top 20 team in the South Carolina Gamecocks.
As the Gamecocks want to be very patient, Talon Cooper falling away.
The buzzsaw at Auburn, and you know, that was a game where they lost by 40, but they were actually in the game at points, and Auburn's like 43 and I think maybe 3 over the last 3 seasons there. So it's a tough team to beat in Neville Arena, but they bounce back with a quality win and have their confidence now.
Well, Radford got that one to go. Guy who came back for his 6th year, averages 15 per game. That's his first field goal. And inside, Jacoby Wright can't finish.
Now, even though that was a layup, Clay, that plays into the hands of the Aggies.
In a row.
Well, we saw Walter Clayton Jr. go out with, 14 minutes to play in the Florida game,
right.
So he's wanting to save him right now.
Here's Wade Taylor. Wade Taylor, 500 points, 100 assists for their 2nd straight year. Texas A&M, Damian, they're at their best when they get inside, and they're struggling to do that.
Sure. I don't know why that time Wade Taylor IV didn't go at B.J. Mack. He had the mismatch. He's got to try to take advantage of that as a guard and put the Gamecocks at a disadvantage.
B.J. Mack leading the Gamecocks with 5 as Stephen Clark is in the game, the Citadel transfer. Here's Mack again, working Carter. Skips it out. Carter for 3. He's got a lot of confidence tonight. Didn't get it that time. Texas A&M in transition. Here's Solo Wash.
And it also hurts us in getting back in defensive transition. Tim was one of the more athletic players on the Aggies team. I would say he's one of the more athletic players in the SEC. I think he's going to be a high-level player in this conference as his skill catches up to his energy and his motor.
Well, they're going to steal a possession here after the 2 missed foul shots. Here's Solo with 5 to shoot. Working on Cooper, falling away, and it rattles home. How about that shot?
Well,
Michi Johnson was wide open in the corner, but South Carolina will do. They bring it out to set up. They're one of the slowest offenses in the country. And that's a nice reverse inside for Stephen Clark, his first 2.
Well, you're talking about a guy in Stephen Clark that's an 1,000-point scorer, transfer from the Citadel. He actually averaged 16 and 7. And so the 4th, they play a lot of minutes, 30-plus minutes a game. Sometimes they conserve their energy. Coming down the stretch here, trying to get into the tournament, they cannot afford to do that.
Well, South Carolina already with 5 team fouls, and Buzz Williams said that, you know, first one getting to the bonus is going to have a real advantage as Obaseki knocks it down.
Manny Obaseki, one of the highest recruits to ever come through Texas A&M, now beginning to play with a little bit more confidence.
Phil Spark off the bench, and now Texas A&M is within 1. Just over 12 minutes to go first half. Talon Cooper, the veteran point guard. Big addition out of the transfer portal this year for Carolina. Johnson rattles home a long 3 for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, that's what makes the Gamecocks a dangerous team. When Michi Johnson is on, he smells trouble. 20-plus points on 7 occasions this season.
Solo Johnson just gliding in, showing that aforementioned athleticism again.
How you like the pace of this game, partner?
It's breakneck, right? Michi Johnson kind of been in an offensive funk coming into this game. See if he can string 2 baskets in a row together.
On his shoulder, you know, there was a certain quiet confidence or is not comparable because of the job that he's done.
5 points for number 5, Meechie Johnson, in his second year at South Carolina after 2 at Ohio State. And it's a 4-point lead for the Gamecocks. The defense for South Carolina very sharp at Ole Miss. Held the Rebels to a season-low 59 points, and they are really doing a good job on A&M so far.
Difference in this season is the way that I'm going to get skilled guys that play the game the way I want to play the game, and that has led to his success this season.
Anderson Garcia with a couple of baskets at the free throw line, his first points. Terrific rebounder, of course. He leads the SEC, number 2 in the nation in offensive rebounds per game. This is the number 3 rebounding team in the country, Texas A&M. Florida, who we just saw earlier, leading the nation in that category. Johnson misses from 3, tapped out, and now Jace Carter wants to run for the Aggies.
Yeah, I like the zone right now by the Aggies. And what it's doing is it's making the Gamecocks one-dimensional. They like to get their bigs inside. They like to cut and slash to the basket, but right now they're settling more from the perimeter.
And it's poked out. South Carolina was the Final Four year, 2017. Said it before, projected to be a 6th seed right now. Trying to pad their resume on the road here tonight. 4 to shoot, and that's
Mike White, who's now at Georgia, was included in that 25.
That foul was actually called on Johnson. Radford hits them both, and we're tied up. As you see it right now, how many teams do you see getting in from the SEC?
Well, Joe Lunardi's got 7. I think that you will have a team like Texas A&M or Ole Miss, one of those 2 teams make a run. But they're both certainly good enough. But the Aggies, with their wins over Iowa State, Kentucky, and Tennessee, I would say have the best chance. And you see the seeding right now. All of those teams that are listed, obviously, I don't think are only going to get to the NCAA tournament, but I think they will advance. The Aggies have to get in there now.
Meechie Johnson with a couple of threes here in the half. The lead is 3. That swims off the rim. Jacoby Wright will try a 3. Nothing but net.
I told Lamont Paris I thought he was the biggest example of the coaching job that he had done. Jacoby Wright wasn't a confident player. He started to pick up steam last year, but hit a last-second shot this season against Missouri and plays like he knows that he's supposed to be on the floor now.
Key man off the bench, Jacoby Wright. Scored 10 at Ole Miss on Saturday. He's got it again. He'll try another 3. Backside rebound, boots Radford. He'll wait for reinforcements. And
right, we talked about Wade Taylor IV, pressure off guys like Henry Coleman, Garcia, Levesque, and Jace Carter.
South Carolina still in the hunt for an SEC regular season title. But a top 4 finishes the more immediate goal. The top 4 get a 2-game bye in Nashville.
Johnson uncomfortable. Try to get this tempo going up and down a little bit more.
Well, it's 3.5 minutes since Texas A&M hit its last field goal. They've been getting to the line. They got into the bonus early in the half. There's Taylor, nice move. He'll kick it out. Radford, line drive, doesn't go. And just one and done for A&M.
Unfortunately, they've also proven they can lose to anybody as well.
Yeah, still in the NCAA tournament conversation because of those 5 quad 1 wins. That jump shot doesn't go for Cooper.
But they're certainly not bigger and stronger.
He doesn't have a field goal yet. He's 0 for 3 from the field, but hitting foul shots here. Taylor can get hot, though, for sure. He scored 41 at Arkansas this year. Most points for an Aggie in 39 years.
You notice the pointing. They're blitzing ball screens right now, trying to force South Carolina to speed up.
Gray with a beautiful pass to Zachary Davis. on the baseline. Davis coming off his best game of the year. He had 14 and 9 at Ole Miss, both career highs. And South Carolina, 9 baskets made now, 9 assists.
Yeah, beautiful job. And right now, the Aggies, again, trying to see if they can force South Carolina to play a little bit faster, trying to speed them up, which is very difficult to do for a Lamont Paris team.
Johnson going to work, and he's Johnson at the line.
Put up those 29 points back in late November. I mean, this guy is one of multiple guys, though, on South Carolina team that's had 20-point games.
Texas A&M has gone over 5 minutes without a basket. And that's
right, tops in the country in defensive efficiency, in the Gamecocks as well.
In the last few weeks for South Carolina. Radford got his own miss, tipped it up and in.
Yeah, nice battle. And you talked about the struggles that the Aggies have had. Reed Arena, though, keeping them involved in this basketball game. The energy and effort has been there.
Garcia comes away with it for the Aggies. Down 5. Taylor. And I asked and found the right mix of whatever it is to get wins on the road.
Well, and you see the job that he's done this year. Obviously at Alabama we talked about tough, but at Tennessee is as good as win as you'll find in all of college basketball this season. And the other wins, quality wins as well. Any win in the SEC on the road is a tough one. I think it was the first loss that Ole Miss had at home this season as well, from a hungry Rebel team.
5.5 to go, first half. Shot clock at 5. Jacoby Wright penetrates. Trigger it in. Transfer from Minnesota. And they're gonna
Remiss if we didn't mention that Miles Studi, the transfer from Vanderbilt, out of this basketball game tonight. They're actually 13-0 when he actually scores 10+ points. He hurt his knee earlier last week.
Obaseki. Nice move around Davis, but Davis stood his ground and then plucks the rebound.
Yeah, the Gamecocks do a fantastic job of simply keeping the basketball in front of them. They stay chest to chest.
Lamont Paris really loves Zach Davis's defense. Says he has such a bright future. Cooper back on the perimeter. Dibba attacks.
Well, he actually played for my former coach, Coach Cliff Ellis, who retired this year at Coastal Carolina, who's one of the SEC legends. SEC tournament coming up in Nashville. Tore his Achilles. Good to see him back out playing and healthy again.
Lead is 5 for the Gamecocks.
Nice.
Garcia, what an adjustment mid-air to get it to go. Cooper in the paint. Jacoby Wright getting late in the shot clock again. Dibba for 3.
Had the success that a lot of people have expected. That's not just missed games, that's mixed practices as well. But you got to give South Carolina and the Gamecocks all the credit in the world. They now go to a 1-3-1 zone to see if they can change it up a little bit for the Aggies.
Ooh, almost stolen away there by...
Has been really good defensively all year. They held the Ole Miss Rebels to 33% from the field.
Hefner back in the game. He launches a 3. Garcia, one of the best rebounders in the nation. Here's Solo Washington again. And Cooper will clear it for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, just not working as a cohesive unit. We talked about how the ball was moving quickly with the Gamecocks. It's sticking a little bit right now for the Aggies.
Davis attacks and got the bounce.
Nice. Really love his size, his length, his athleticism. He is a defender, but he's a guy that they can really build on. The sophomore, 6'7", 194 pounds.
Radford. And Texas A&M still cold from outside the arc. Going back to Zachary Davis-Fish, this is his 12th straight start. Since he's been a regular in the starting lineup, things have really gone well for the Gamecocks.
Sure.
Cooper. Murray Boyles. You know, he's hard to stop when he gets downhill. The big 6'7", 231-pound freshman.
Yeah, breakout game with those 31 points. They're winning that 8-2 for 6-second chance points. But this 1-3-1 zone has slowed them down. They don't need to settle. They need to get to the rim. There you go.
Coleman off a nice little dish across the lane from Garcia. First basket for Henry Coleman. Michi Johnson leading the Gamecocks with 10 points. He's on the bench right now. Zach Davis has 6. He's got it here on the wing. His 3 is short. Garcia, another rip off the rim. And Taylor floats it up and in, and we need to see more of that from him. That's what Buzz Williams is thinking.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about when I say they have to play faster. You cannot walk the ball up in the SEC. This is a defensive lead, even though you got teams that are top 5 in scoring like Alabama and Kentucky. You've got to get out and go offensively before the length and athleticism sets up defensively.
That's the first basket for Taylor in this game. Now a turnover. They can tie with a 3.
See, I don't like that shot. You're trying to slow up, get a foul. No, go to the basket and score before that defense is set up. Use your quickness and your speed if you're Wade Taylor to get at point-blank range, because you're struggling 0 of 9 as a team from the three-point line.
Another turnover. Garcia takes it away. 48 seconds to go in the half.
And the Gamecocks, they love this pace. They can get back in their 1-3-1 zone. They are big on the interior.
Coleman on the baseline, muscled it up, can't finish.
That's what happens when you wait and let the defense get back. Too big, too strong. Nice job defensively by South Carolina.
A 3-second difference between game and shot clock.
Josh Gray at 7 feet, 265 pounds. You got to make that big fella get out and run.
Gonna milk this clock down. Jacoby Wright takes it to the top of the key. Wright, 1 on the shot clock. They better hurry. That's another point specialist, but 2 of his last 11 from 3. Radford will do the honors. Yeah, Texas A&M is going to need more from Taylor and Radford. Combined 3 of 14 shooting. They are 0 for 8 from 3 combined. And as a team, A&M 0 for 10 from outside the arc. Nice reverse going to the other side of the 10. Davis for South Carolina.
Well, that's what would concern me if I'm having to face the Gamecocks as this season goes on. A lot of teams don't get better as the season goes on. These Gamecocks are continuing to improve every time they step in between the lines.
Nice cut, but Garcia can't finish with the left hand.
Man, that he made that much harder than it had to be. He should have just went directly to the rim. There's not huge rim protection on either one of these teams. Attack the glass and dunk it.
Well, Michi Johnson picking up where he left off in the first half. Nice mid-range jump shot. He's got a dozen.
Yeah, absolutely love his basketball game. When he simplifies it, straight line drive or jump shot or just a nice mid-range or step back, he's really good.
This matches South Carolina's biggest lead at 7. And Radford throws it up a little wildly. Cooper into the front court. Finds a seam and then passes back for Davis for the two-hand slam.
If I'm Buzz, I'm getting a timeout. You don't want to get behind against a team like the Gamecocks, and it looks like that's give credit. You know, he's at a school with Dawn Staley, who's one of the best to ever do it in college basketball, competing for her 3rd college basketball. I talked to the guys about what you've already completed, and that's something that helped them continue to gain their confidence to get it back.
Wade Taylor with his first points of the second half. He had 7 at the break.
Like the timeout and response by the Aggies, getting Wade Taylor downhill and attacking the basket.
South Carolina 13 assists on 15 field goals. And that three goes down for Meechie Johnson. That's his third triple of the game.
You know, that was a well-defended play, but that's just how good South Carolina can be. They were going for the duck in with Colin Murray Boyles. They double-teamed it, but on the closeout, Meechie Johnson he's got that type of range, so your closeouts have to be longer.
Solo Washington back on the floor. So is Jace Carter, the junior, transferred in from University of Illinois at Chicago. Baseline Davis now with 10. These are the only players in this game in double figures.
Conversation with veteran official Terry Oglesby, just continuing to advocate for his team a little bit, Clay.
Just staying in the ear of the officials. Let them know you're there. Radford lets everybody in Reed Arena know he's here. Knocks down a mid-range shot.
We talked about this off the air, Clay. And yes, A&M stayed in the game in the first half because of their ability to get to the free throw line. I think the Aggies overdo it sometime, attempting to get to the line versus focusing on making the shot. That's what they need to do here in the second half.
Nice left hand and finish by Talon Cooper.
Wow. You're talking about a guy that's got over 1,340 career points. You can't speed him up, and he's always playing at his own pace.
And then Cooper swats that one away from Taylor. In transition, three ball doesn't go for Davis. And Washington will get the carom. Talon Cooper, brings a lot of leadership to the table for South Carolina. Wants to get into coaching someday. As Mack gets the rebound here for the Gamecocks.
See, I just think this is too slow for the Aggies. You know, this is the pace. You see how the Gamecocks walk it up? This is what they want. Slowest tempo, slowest pace in the SEC. They're really good at half-court execution, getting mismatches. They're looking for B.J. Mack on the block right here.
Murray Boyles from the free throw line. Doesn't go.
Let's see how people continue to succeed in postseason. The last few years, UConn, Baylor, Kansas, the SEC looks good too.
Meechie Johnson, long three and a wild miss.
I just opened it up. It was from my favorite producer, Alyssa. Thank you for the card.
Alyssa Killebrew.
You always got to
look very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful.
Boots Radford. See if he can heat up here in the second half. The lefty, and
him is that South Carolina, who was projected 14th in the SEC preseason, is a top 25 team.
Yeah.
The bad news is that South Carolina is a top 25 team. It's an opportunity, but it's against a quality team.
Inside to Gray, bobbles it, flips it out. Cooper steps inside the three-point line, halfway down, and it comes out. Radford leading a 3-on-2 break.
From behind the three-point line, which is the reason why they've been struggling.
Cooper for three. Yes.
Pretty.
Boy, that was a sweet-looking shot.
And that's why I say that for the Aggies, they have to play faster. That was Wade Taylor against a 6'8" Zachary Davis. So whenever you see the Aggies help, that's putting them at a disadvantage and in closeout positions that the Gamecocks are taking advantage of.
Radford knocks down a two on the other end. Radford now with a dozen. He's the first Aggie into double figures tonight.
That's something that you see at the NCAA is you have better teams that take advantage of the switches that you see in college basketball.
Davis leans in, the double team.
So that's the challenge that you're dealing with in the half court for the Aggies.
Davis floats it up and in.
Much better. Like that speed off of the bounce. Just quicker to the basketball.
Taylor, I should say, with 11 now. So he's in double figures after a slow start. Dibba getting some playing time. First game since game 1 of the year. Battled an Achilles injury. Ibrahima Dibba. Taylor drops it inside for Solo Washington. Backing down Dibba. And again, they can't finish at the rim.
Inside to the basket in a half-court setting, I'm going to lose. But I'm going to make that big fella get up and down the floor. And over time, I'm hoping that my endurance is going to win in a 40-minute basketball game. I think that's what the Aggies have to do. They have to try to turn South Carolina over, speed them up without taking too many risks, because in the half court, they are dangerous.
Davis thought about a long three, steps in for a closer look from three. Rebound to the Aggies.
But you see here, Wade Taylor slowing it up, and now you've got that good size of South Carolina set going chest to chest defensively.
That time they do finish with Garcia on a pretty pass from Obaseki.
Well, that's what Pat Bradley was talking about, continuing to go downhill. So two things that they've done that they talked about in the studio, getting downhill, and then Slay talked about Wade Taylor getting involved, which is going to enhance the ability of the other players to be successful for the Aggies.
Aggies on a 6-0 run now. Talon Cooper, beautiful pass. Davis.
What about South Carolina? Yeah, you were projected 14th by preseason SEC, but you're competing for an SEC championship and seeding to not only get into the tournament, but try to get a good seed so that you can advance once you get there.
The Aggies still in the hunt.
About trying to get to the free throw line, win the offensive glass.
It's a 15 foul on the Gamecocks. Radford. Nice stick back on the backside by Washington.
Yeah, big time rebound by Washington. A missed box out that time. Something that you don't often see by the Gamecocks, who are actually only down 1 on the glass.
Just one look for the Gamecocks on that trip as Johnson misses the shot. 8-0 run for A&M. A&M is 11 of 14 at the stripe tonight. And they're starting to come back now. It's a 9-0 run. As you look at Carter's numbers,
yeah,
the first 8 games in SEC play in the last 6.
Well, he's really continued to improve. The problem is that Boots Radford and Wade Taylor numbers have went down over the past 4 games. But Jace Carter's proven that he could be that third scorer that they need along with Henry Coleman.
Here comes the crowd at Reed, over 9,200.
Aggies, he's played 85.
His first point since those 5 early.
Well, what you don't want if you're the Gamecocks is to continue to allow the Aggies to hang around here. On the road, you want to try to close that door. Give credit to Texas A&M for battling in spite of the struggles from the perimeter.
Obaseki just snaking his way to the hoop. He got it to go. Carolina led by as many as 13 here in the second half. Mack. And guess who? Anderson Garcia with a rebound.
Yeah, Reed Arena really getting into it a little bit. If they can get a basket here, this crowd would explode. Manny Obaseki, the guy hunting amongst bench players in him. And when you have a team that's scoring and you have a talent like Manny Obaseki, it is much needed on this team.
A&M has come all the way back to tie it up here in the second half. A 13-point Gamecocks lead has disappeared. Michi Johnson, deep 3. And South Carolina 0 for its last 7. Washington, yes! And for the first...
Let's see how they respond The Aggies right now in a 2-2-1, probably going back to man. They're doing a nice job of communicating, pointing, switching. I look for this basketball to end up in the hands of Cooper or Meechie Johnson.
Meechie Johnson, you're
Strong.
up.
His eyes focused on the glass to convert.
But he can't hit the free throw. Meechie Johnson, 17 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Here's Carter from the corner. And Cooper will track down the backside rebound for the Gamecocks. And John.
Energy where they can't sustain it. The good news is this isn't a tournament atmosphere. This isn't a neutral site. This is at home in Reed Arena for the Aggies. Let's see if the fans can keep them energetic.
Cooper got the 3. That's his second triple of the half. And just like that, the number 18 team in the country gets back in front.
By Talon Cooper.
Talon Cooper with 8.
Time. If you're going to get that 5th foul, you want to get it at the right way. You don't want to be going over the back. You don't want a careless blocking charge or reaching call. You want to earn it, and you want to make sure that you're cognizant about your value being in this basketball game as a freshman the first time in Reed Arena.
Davis skips it across. Cooper, shot fake. Extra pass. Underneath, Gray can't finish, but there is Murray Boyles to flush it down.
CMB back in the building once again. Didn't take him long for his presence to be felt on the offensive glass.
Well, that's being aggressive, while still being smart, for sure. Radford, yes! Second 3 of the night for A&M.
And then there were 2. The Gamecocks went to that 1-3-1 zone. Dangerous right now as the Aggies continue to gain a little bit of momentum and confidence.
Tipped out, Gray keeps it alive for the Gamecocks. Wide open is Meechie Johnson, but he missed it badly.
That contact, and I'm going to tell you what, Garcia took the biggest blow, and he's on the sideline. They're taking a look at him. He took a shot to the mouth.
Henry Coleman back on the floor for the Aggies. He's played just 10 minutes tonight. Radford, nice adjustment to get that in around Murray Boyles.
But Clay, he wasn't going for the foul on that time. He was focusing on making the shot. That's the difference.
The lead is 3 now for A&M. Wide open, Cooper. He gets another one.
Pretty basketball. That's how you win games on the road. There was no sense of panic by Meechie Johnson or the freshman who got it in the middle of the paint.
He is 3 for 3 from three-point land. 11 points for Cooper. Tie game. It has not been. Got them both.
Wow. 19 of 22 from the free throw line for the Aggies.
And we said it a couple of times already tonight. Buzz Williams said that was going to be key. Get to the bonus early in both halves. They have done that. They've stayed in this game. In fact, have come back to take the lead after being down 13 in the half, in large part because of their shooting at the stripe. 5 to shoot. Cooper wide open for 3 again. Off the heel, backside. Murray Boyles keeps it alive.
Boy, he's a freshman, but that was a grown man rebound.
The rookie working hard. Got it, Murray Boyles.
Wow. Lamont Paris told us that he was really their best player over the summer before he got mono and had to work his way back.
And a quick shot. Wade Taylor. Now South Carolina can take the lead back with 4.5 to go. B.J. Mack looking for help. Meechie Johnson dials up a 3. Tipped up and in. Zachary Davis, big basket.
Bigger, stronger, longer at every position right now in South Carolina.
And Zachary Davis has followed up a career-high 14 against Ole Miss with another nice game tonight. He's got a dozen.
That time Taylor was looking for the foul again. Good no call. I'm surprised that the Aggies have not went at Colin Murray Boyles. He's got 4 fouls, Put the pressure on him to defend without fouling.
And now the Gamecocks are going to take a measured pace here. Talon Cooper, no. Murray Boyles with a fresh shot clock. Mack can't hit from three. Garcia will track it down.
Both teams have 2 timeouts. What a possession game right now before our last media timeout coming up. Huge play right here.
Radford has his pocket picked. Johnson in free flight, and he'll lay it up and in. Projected to be a 6th seed in the tournament.
Right. Michi's baskets have just been such timely baskets tonight. Let's see what Coach Williams comes up with out of the timeout now.
Radford, jumper doesn't go. Johnson climbs the ladder for the rebound.
Solid. South Carolina is going to force you to make shots. They're going to stay in front of the basketball and stay in front of you chest to chest, watch your waist, and make you play over the top of them.
Johnson going to work again. Got it, and foul. A 3-point put it down.
South Carolina sitting on 9 turnovers for almost all of this half.
Playing with 4 for South Carolina. 4 points, all of them at the line.
But right now, you've got to get hot defensively. You need consecutive stops for the rest of this game. If you're the Texas A&M Aggies. For the Gamecocks, you want to play your game. Be poised. Right now, I look for them to try to go inside. B.J. Mack's got a size advantage over Radford. They switched that back with Solomon Washington. Nice job by the Aggies.
And the Gamecocks again take that shot clock down and
moves in college basketball.
I think they called a lane violation on Texas A&M.
Tippy on the roll.
They had to put 1 more second back on the clock. That's what that delay was about. Davis didn't get it. Obaseki. There's Boots Radford, floats it up. That was partially blocked. Radford gets it back, throws up a wild shot, and got it to fall.
All heart by Tyrese Boots Radford, not giving up as all Buzz Williams teams are.
19 points, 9 rebounds for Boots. As Johnson goes to the line for South Carolina. Man, they're missing their foul shots here lately. It's third game against a ranked opponent this year at home for Texas A&M, and they beat Kentucky and Tennessee here. Can they do it against South? Obaseki completes the
right here to try to get back in Joe Lunardi's good graces.
Triple-double watch for Talon Cooper. 11 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Cooper, under a minute to go.
Meechie Johnson time.
It is Johnson. Cooper for 3. Missed it. Long rebound out for Johnson. Again. And they're going to call a jump ball on the sideline. It's going to stay with South Carolina.
Anticipating the miss and attacking the glass.
Shot clock at 10. 38 seconds to play in regulation. Meechie Johnson going to work. Extra pass. Shot fake. Mack missed it. Out of 27 seconds in the game. Cooper doesn't hit. Down 2, Texas A&M. Taylor got it. 8 seconds. Meechie Johnson attacks.
Good pass.
Davis.
Lower place at times. He was on the sideline waving his hands, telling Meechie Johnson to push it, and it was a nice job of not allowing the defense to set up. You see that was the third line of defense. Henry Coleman tried to get back, was there.
So they started the clock early. That's why they stopped it. Taylor lost it.
Unbelievable.
And that's going to do it. So this game ends in a thud for Texas A&M, and they lose their 5th straight.